All right, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us back on today's video. I have a very special guest with us today. His name is Ogre. That's what he goes by on his social media handle. I'm super excited to have you, Ogre. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Can't complain. Can't complain. It's a real hot day here in Northern California, so trying to stay more inside. But, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I hear
dude.
that.
Yeah, no complaints.
We're cool here, so I'm digging it.
You guys have a lot of like humidity, though, right?
Yeah, it swings like it'll swing, but once July and August hit, it'll be humid and hot and gross.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. But cool. So we'll just go ahead and hop right in. You have an awesome collection going up, and now it's live now on OpenSea. You guys can go check it out. And I'm going to put a link in the description below. But we're going to talk all about it, and then we're going to have a surprise at the end of the video. So Ogre, just give us a little bit of like background of who you are, and yeah, how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, so without going through my whole life story, I'm a Midwest kid. Um, I've always loved toys and cartoon characters, and I went to school for industrial design, which is where I learned how to do a lot of digital arts in a really professional way. And then I've kind of made a career out of bouncing around, trying new and different things, up until about 2 or 3 years ago when I went independent as an artist. So I've been making art for 20 years, but I've been making it work for three, and uh, then I've started, and then I kind of hit the NFT world, and it was like this perfect match because I did all this art, and then I really was vibing with the community there, and everything's been moving really fast since then.
That's awesome. So what was kind of your shift in going from maybe like a 9 to 5 job as an artist to, maybe kind of freelancing, or what does that look like for you now? And yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah, so I always had jobs that were like I had design jobs where they understood that I had creative pursuits outside of their office. It was an important thing for me when I was selecting an employer, and I've been painting murals for about 10 years, and I landed a couple big murals, and then I thought, now's the chance to try to do it. So I stepped out, and I've been painting murals full time for a couple of years, and super thankful for the opportunities that I've had. And what's funny is that I'm always looking to continue to grow and continue to play. I don't only just love painting murals. I like working in my shop, and I love 3D printing. So I'm trying to go down that path a little further. Maybe find a balance between that and mural painting.
Man, that's so cool. Yeah, I checked out a few of your murals on your Instagram page, which I'll again put a link to all of his stuff down below so your listeners can go check that out. But dude, incredible. I think we could probably have a whole another episode on just your murals and just go through that creative process. I'm sure, like yeah, I guarantee you have a whole thing that you can go into about just murals alone, that being your primary
Yeah,
business. So,
I mean,
um,
I'm still doing it because I'm new. So I'm actually starting one tomorrow. So I'm kind of double timing right now, which is a
okay.
lot, but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, but I could talk for days about murals because I've been doing it for a while.
Well, it's kind of one of those things too, I'm sure, where it's do what you love and you never work a day in your life. That's what I get the sense from what your work.
A good weather day on a lift on a mural can't be beat. You got your
Yeah.
headphones on, no one's anywhere close to bother you, and you're just painting. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I am not artistically gifted at all in the painting department, so I steer clear of that. But that's why we have people like.
Yeah, teach their
Yeah.
own.
So yeah, right. Exactly, and that's what makes this space so awesome is that everybody has their own gifts and respective areas. Like, what was the aha moment whenever you decided, okay, I can actually take my art and put it like on the blockchain, or I'm introduced to NFTs. What was that kind of aha moment for you?
It's funny is like it was not quite an aha moment. It was more like because I've been a digital illustrator for a long time, and as soon as NFTs like reached my kind of sphere, I started
Mhm.
paying attention to them. Right, I was intimidated by a lot of it, and I actually didn't even know how to get involved. But like, I've been paying attention to I wouldn't say I've been paying attention to the market, but I've been paying attention to the art and how it's reframed the way artists kind of are viewing how to create work, how to access their fans, like how to like do all of that. I wasn't learning like any of the technicals of it, but I was super inspired by it. And I actually started creating work. Um, that was inspired by what I was seeing in the NFT space. So like I was understanding how PFPs were like these series of characters that all related to each other, but we're all different, right?
Right.
So I started creating work, but it wasn't until it's been a little bit at a time. I got a wallet, a while back. It's like been one little baby step every 3 months, and then I kind of a friend of mine, Chris Glenn, he goes by Crispy. uh, he helps me project some of my murals sometimes to do a transfer, and he was just like, we were just having a conversation. He is involved with the Alien Friends. That's how he got. That's how he got pulled in. He's actually in Sean from Ohio studio. So like they connect, and he onboarded me. He's like do this first, do this and this, and he encouraged me to start going into spaces, encouraged me to start talking to people, and that's where I started learning everything. I started listening, and participating, and it took a couple months for me to really feel comfortable sharing my work, and then I got to a point where like, all right, I'm down to share what I've already created, and like kind of use that as an opportunity to learn these processes. Um, like, I've got an OpenSea collection, but now I actually want to learn the contract side of it. So I'm going to try to merge those two. I've created a contract, so it's an opportunity for me to like learn where all the pitfalls are, where I need help, right? Um, but at the same time, share work that is very personal to me. So um, to loop back to your question, it wasn't one aha moment; it was a series of them. It was like a slow kind of crawl into it until I fell off the cliff, and now I'm stuck.
Dude, that's an incredible story. Yeah, I had a fellow alien friend onboard me into NFTs as well, and it wasn't actually initially alien friends, but I kind of worked my way up, like you said, baby steps, right?
Yeah,
And then I eventually got into alien friends, which is where you and I connected. Just being in spaces and group chats and that kind of thing, and just in the atmosphere. So it's awesome. I love alien friends. We can again go on another whole another episode about that as well.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So when you think about bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, which is a lot of people talk about on Twitter and just in the space in general. I think that your art is one of the main things that comes to the forefront. And I'm talking about your 3D art because it is incredible. Like if you guys have not had a chance to check that out, it is so cool. Like you've done a lot of cool pieces. So do you want to talk about just your 3D art for a second here?
Yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, the 3D is what I'm trying to build a brand around. When I start, the reason why I've started with this collection is to, number one, fundraise, to be able to start to push towards my own project, but also to get that out of the way, um, and identify people who want to support me, but then push into the 3D. So I've been 3D printing since 2005, which comes out to be about 17 years now. I've been I bought my own printer 2 years ago, and now I'm up to four. But 3D printing to me is this amazing art form that has this amazing potential to be an art form where I can take pieces that people really love and like realize them in a physical space, and then ship them out so that like when you're sitting at your desk, like my AFE is print. I printed my AFE out, and it's just hanging out in my studio with me. So like it's like my little buddy there in real life and in my wallet. And there was like this connection. That was an aha moment for me, was to see how much people cared about these PFPs, and realizing that I can provide this service that I'm not really seeing in other spaces. So and
Yeah,
it's been a while.
and people are so attached to them. People are getting tattoos of their PFPs on them, you know, and not just Alien Friends, like a whole bunch of other projects are getting actual tattoos of their profile pictures. So it is a real
Yeah,
thing for sure.
yeah. I mean, and I get it because I'm attached to some of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, and your snake with the your snake head with the hoodie is
Yeah,
awesome. By the way, I love that
that's
one.
one of them. That was my entry. That was like my day one goal was like, I gotta get an OG Alien Friend, just because,
Yeah,
it's from Cincinnati, and like it was just a huge celebration, and like I just found that one during the dip, and I was like, oh man, that's the one.
yeah, that's incredible. That's a heck of a snag right there. So your 3D art, just want to try to understand a little bit better. So how long does it take you to make one? Are you hand painting every single one that you do? Like, what does that process kind of look like?
The process is unique to each one, but if it's full color, yeah, I have painted it. Um, you could say by hand, but I actually use spray paint. I use airbrush, and I use brushes, depending on, I don't know, a number of different factors. But yeah, they're all individually painted. Um, people will call them toys, but like I almost want to call them sculptures, because like
Yeah,
they're they have like I print them extra heavy. I put extra resin in them so they have some weight to them. Like, because like I got to it just I was holding like two different ones. And I was like, the one that's heavier feels like just better. So
yeah,
I'm it's been a process, a learning process for me, but each one, from start to finish, if I was only working on one at a time, maybe 3 days, but maybe 4 days, 3 or 4
so
days.
between like the printer printing it, you're drying and it, you know, molding and all that kind of stuff, about 3 to 4 days.
Maybe, yeah, depending on what it is, because some of the prints take 20 hours. Like it's not like an inkjet printer. I mean, these are actually fast printers. They're um, but there's 20 hours is fast for that type of part. So
Right.
it's like, um, so but it's like I have, yeah, at any given moment, I have like 6 or 7 of these things in different pieces scattered all around my studio. So it sort of is it's not never as simple as like 3 to 4 days. I don't think that my queue is ever going to be empty enough for me to like figure out exactly how quick that I can do one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Just trying to get a better understanding of, you know, like the time and care that you're taking into making the individual pieces. By the way, I would love to. I need to get with you and get one for my my hippie friend with the small one coming out of the head. My OG. I need one
Oh
for
yeah,
that. But
yeah.
so, dude, it's awesome, man.
The OGs are my favorites, man. Those are my favorites to do. I've done a bunch of them, and
With the mini alien coming out.
I've done a handful of the mini aliens. Yeah, I did one
Yeah,
of
that's
them with
awesome.
the like the little trap door. I did
Yep.
one that was just popping out the top, and then I did one in the shirt pocket. So yeah, those have been fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna hit you up for something like that. But so let's kind of go on to your current project that you just launched. Congratulations, by the way. Like it's incredible. I know we were talking about for you guys who are listening. I was just chilling in an airport uh, lounge or whatever, if you say, in Las Vegas. I'm just chilling there and I'm just looking on Twitter, and you know, Ogre's Lounge is at the top, and I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta hop in there. So I hop in. And we're just talking, and he's just you're trying to go just figure out your project, how you want to, you know, start marketing it, and how you want to, what you want to do in the future. I know you have a lot of plans. Do you want to give us just a quick overview of this, and then maybe any future like alpha you want to drop here for the viewers?
Yeah, so I use my space to like kind of throw my ideas around, and like um I'm still working out, and I'm the type of creative that's like, I'm always gonna be honest about the fact that I'm gonna try to change things if I think they need to be better. So like that's why I like talking to people about stuff. But long term, I can tell you what my goal is. My goal is to create um, the Ogre Cave, and that is a my own, buying a building, building a 3D print shop inside of it, a paint shop inside of it, and like a front gallery space. Um, specifically what that looks like, who knows yet, but um, ultimately, the projects that I'm working towards are working towards that goal, right? To build this space. Um, I'm using, like I said, I'm using the Melancholy Androids that I kicked off as an opportunity for me to continue to learn this process, but also to engage with people that want to support me, so that I can like actually talk to them about what their ideas are and what they might like to see me do too, because that kind of input is invaluable. But long term, the 3D is really going to be my statement, the type of artist that I want to be. And instead, I don't know, I don't have any plans of doing a 10,000 piece or even a 5,000 piece or even 1,000 piece. Like at most, I'm going to drop maybe five to 10 at a time, because I want to drop, when I drop a series, um, as I start to move into the 3D side of it, I want that to each one to come with a print. You know, I
Mm.
want people to be buying a print and an NFT at the same time, so that you're getting that real world utility first up front. It's like basically I want to build a shop where I'm selling these figures, um, and you also get an NFT with it. But there's a lot of fun I can have with like connecting these different series through traits and things like that. I don't know. Um, I don't know what ideas I'll have in the future, but like I think also um, keeping it simple and small at first will provide me the opportunity to be flexible, which is important to me.
The Melancholy Android collection is kind of just like, there's a description on OpenSea, and I think you said it perfectly. It was basically just during the time of COVID, you had some struggles. I think all of us did, really. I think everybody kind of went through a very similar experience in COVID, and the lockdowns and everyone freaking out, not in the unsurety of the situation. And you expressed in that bio that this collection was your creative expression during that time, and kind of how you dealt with it. And so I think that was incredible. I'm going to try to put a description right here so you guys can see like what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, do you want to go in, like, you make this on Procreate? Like, what was your, do you have any more thoughts on, other than like the description, on what that project is from you?
Yeah, I would actually love to talk about it, because I could talk about it for a while. It's really personal. But it's in Procreate almost entirely. I don't just draw, but I take a lot of um, uh, photos. I'm not really like a professional photographer, but I'll take textures, like concrete textures or whatever. So I use a lot of photos, even of paintings of mine, and drop them in and collage that in. So like it's in a way, it's not just a drawing, but it's a collage and a drawing. Each one is, some of them are more like paintings. It's what I love about Procreate, is that there's such a huge range of what you can do inside of there. I like to play with all of it. Um, and But this series, it's funny because a lot about this series was just thinking like I was in Web 2. I was feeling discouraged because I was just feeling isolated, and I wasn't feeling that, like I wasn't getting any kind of actual connection with anybody there. It just like I would put something up, and like there'd be a couple numbers to tell me whether or not it was successful or not, right?
Right.
um so a lot of this series was me kind of like seeing the NFT world and not understanding how to be a part of it, feeling on the outside of it. I mean, I suffer from depression, particularly seasonal, and it was, it was this time where like I spent a couple weeks on the couch, but just drawing these things and like thinking about, um, uh, just thinking about my situation in my life, and like, I mean, I'm sure in the last couple of years we've all had to like stop and reconsider some stuff. It's been a hard few years, and it might still be hard for a little while. But
Yeah,
um,
unfortunately.
this series to me is and I could talk to you. I could go into each one and a little bit what I was feeling on while I was working on it, and like what it kind of means to me. Um, each one has its own story, and it's slightly different. Some of it's like about imposter syndrome. Some of it's like just about feeling like real down. It's not all negative too. There's some, some positive moments in there as well.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think whenever you look at the pieces, you can really feel kind of what you were going through. I think you did a great job on just showing what was happening. Like some of them are like wild. You're like, what is going on? And then there's also some that are pretty simplistic and kind of minimalist. And I like that. I like that idea. So yeah, the collection is amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing the Ogre Cave. I think that is incredible. And then maybe some other things that are you're also like looking to do in the future. I'm super excited to see. I want to ask you what your favorite moment up to now has been in the NFT space.
I think my favorite moment was, um, oddly, I've had a lot of great moments, so I'm not trying to diminish any of it. But when somebody I didn't really know bought one of my pieces, and then bought a second one, and it was a it was this thing where like I hadn't really talked to this person at all, and it was this moment where I'm actually putting my art out there and people are seeing it and liking it, because like I've had people support me. It wasn't my first sale, but those sales that weren't surprising to me, I feel very grateful for them. But like I was like, okay, yeah, these are people that I would expect to like come out and support me. But then just that person that came out of nowhere, that was a weird moment for me, but it was a good one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just that kind of moment of like, okay, I've reached people who I'm not actually even interacting with. Like my art is extending beyond what I'm even doing myself. Kind of
Yeah,
that moment. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's cool. I actually during COVID, like I started a leather making business where I was making like wallets and holsters and just things out of leather with my hands because I was super bored, just like you were in COVID,
Yeah,
and just like looking around the house, like what am I supposed to do with my hands? But that was like one of my favorite moments of that too, is when I started kind of making some sales to people who I didn't know. Like, of course, when your friends and family, like you said, when they buy a piece, you're like, oh, thank you so much for your support. But when someone that you don't know just found you organically and they buy something from you and then they like write you a good review or they buy it again, you're like, dang, I'm
yeah,
onto something here.
yeah. I'm making something that people like.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear that, man. We should link up in another space. I'd love to hear more about that journey for you.
Oh, dude, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely was full of ups and downs, but I'm happy to be in the NFT space now. Let's just say that.
Good,
So
good. Me too.
awesome. So, yeah, dude, I think that kind of wraps up our interview today. Do you have any final thoughts?
Um, no, I want to thank you. I think that it's it's awesome that um, we got a chance to connect and talk. Very thankful for being in the space. I'm thankful to the friends, and I'm thankful to you. I think that um, it's daily. It still amazes me that people want to chat me up, and I'm here for it. Like I like the people here, and I like what I'm. It's this free space for art, and And at the end of the day, we talk about floors and markets and all that stuff, but we're talking about like cartoon characters, and that's just the best. That's really the best.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. And thank you so much for coming on the show. Like I said earlier, this is one of the reasons why we got into the NFT space is for the artists and to actually have a real artist and entrepreneur come on the show like yourself. Love it. And I had a blast doing this conversation. Thank you so much, Ogre. And thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and also follow Ogre on all of his medias as well. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks.